All right, so this is a really exciting episode of the podcast because I'm going to tell you all about that time last weekend when I was at the Newport Folk Festival watching Brandi Carlile, and she told us there was going to be a little bit of a surprise. And so I will, spoiler alert for the end, it was Joni Mitchell. So I'm going to tell you all about it because I was there and I'm seeing all these videos and articles and whatever, like all over the internet. And I'm like, this was historic. And I was there. I felt so blessed to be there as it was. I didn't realize, I think I did realize what a big deal it was, but I didn't realize that so many people would hear about it so quickly. So I'm just going to tell you what it was like. So I guess the final night of the Newport Folk Festival, I'm not sure how many times she's done it, but I know she did it last year, Brandi Carlile. And so it was billed as Brandi Carlile and Friends. Oh, and I want to give a little, another little exciting thing that happened at the festival, because that was the day before, is that I was watching, I can't remember, how to funny pun folk name, but I was watching some sort of variety show thing on one of the other stages, and they announced that Natalie Merchant was coming on. And so I thought that was pretty epic. I would have been satisfied with that one because I'm a huge Natalie Merchant fan, but this was way more epic what actually happened the next day. So I was pretty tired and I almost didn't go. So I'm so glad that I did not listen to that and got myself out of the door and onto the water taxi and into the festival. These tickets that I got were pretty kismet to begin with, because my friend, who is a performer for weddings, actually was gifted 2 tickets last minute. And you have to understand that the Newport Folk Festival sells out in the first, I think, 4 minutes that they go on sale, when they do, months and months before the actual festival begins. So the fact that we got into the festival to begin with was pretty amazing. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't traveling there for the festival, but it was kind of like a bonus possibility that maybe we could get in, or maybe we could find somebody with a boat that would be able to, get us close and we could listen to the music. But what ended up happening was so much better. So we got 2 free passes. And unfortunately, my friend didn't come the second day because she was playing for the wedding that gave her these tickets. So, but she encouraged me to go by myself. So I went and I saw the Roots, and then I saw Brandi Carlile. And so I got pretty close to the stage. You'll see I have some videos. Unfortunately, my phone battery was dying, so I didn't keep the brightness on my phone very high. And when I was holding the camera, I couldn't really tell what I was holding it up to, but you'll get the audio. I'll share a bunch of videos. And I also was moving around because I wasn't about to not enjoy my experience just to have good video. So it's a little bit funny looking video, and there's probably some better video out there, but this is my video, so it's special to me. Anyway, I was excited to see Brandi Carlile because I love Brandi Carlile.
You gotta dance with the devil on a river to beat the stream. Oh, call it living the dream. Call it kicking the ladder. They come to kick dirt in your face, to call you weak and in this place you have to carry in your baby on your back across the desert.
About her since after I graduated from college. They played her on this radio station that I listened to. The radio station was from upstate New York, and I was in Connecticut, and they would play all sorts of really great artists that weren't on the radio. And Brandi Carlile was one of them. And I remember really loving her voice. And then when I saw her at the Grammys a couple years ago, I think, I was just so excited because it was the other person that radio station would play was Sia. So I've been a Sia fan for a really long time. And I think it's really cool to see people grow in their careers to those heights, and also to see it as this long, elongated process, because I think that so much of the time we assume that people that rise to stardom, it just sort of happens in an instant, but it is really, for some people it happens faster than others, but still there's so much groundwork that's laid before something like that happens most of the time. So excited to see Brandi Carlile on the bill for the Newport Full Festival. So excited that I decided to go. We all listened to about 4 of her songs. And she did, the last 2 were The Joke, and then she did this song that I hadn't heard before that was about being gentle, which was really sweet. And then she said something like, so if you guys have heard me perform before, you'll know that I'm acting really weird, which I hadn't, so I didn't realize she was acting weird, but she's like, it's just because, you know, I'm usually really chatty, but I have such a big surprise for you. I'm so excited. Give us 10 to 15 minutes to set up. You won't be sorry. Something to that effect. So she goes off the stage, and then the whole backstage crew comes onto this big outdoor stage, and we're all standing there. And I'm maybe like 20 people back, so I have a pretty good view. And I'm just watching, like, it was really hilarious. People are like all talking to themselves like, what the fuck is going on? They just started bringing on all this like upholstered furniture, like really nice sort of antique looking furniture. They took all the instruments off the stage and then just started putting furniture down and books and candles and things that had nothing to do with music. And so I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, are they gonna put on a play? Like, are we gonna do a roast? Like what's going on? I had no concept of what was ahead. Some people behind me were making jokes about Joni Mitchell coming on, but I didn't really put much weight into it. Although in retrospect, I suppose that was a little bit of a foreshadowing. So at the point when I saw mic stands come next to the furniture, I got a little bit more hopeful that we were in for some music. And then there were some instruments brought on, and they wheeled a piano on the stage. And yeah, and so it was all set up sort of in a semicircle, kind of like a living room, which was why I had a feeling that we were in for like a theater or roast, but we weren't. And then all these musicians started coming on who had played music during the festival. So they were all these musicians, and one of them was Winona Judd, although I didn't hear her perform. And I think one of the other women that was sitting on the couch was Emmylou Harris, who didn't sing, but man, I would have loved to have heard that. And there was a woman who was closest to the front of the stage, whose name was Celise.
I have to say, you know, when you're on a stage like this, I'm supposed to act really cool. I'm supposed to just act like, yeah, you know, I'm just up here. But I'm freaking out because this is a dream come true. Thank you, Joni Mitchell, for your existence. Thank you.
Who I can't even find on the bill. So if somebody watching this knows who this is, she was the Black woman who played this song. I will put it in here. Help Me, which was the most incredible version of Help Me I have ever heard in my life. That album, Court and Spark, is my favorite Joni Mitchell album, and that song is like, one of my absolute Joni Mitchell favorites. So I was really excited that she played it. And I also have like a huge, I don't know, gushy spot for people who do covers that are just so different from the original, as you may have guessed, because I do a lot of covers that are like super different from the original in my own music. So I just love it when people put their own spin on it. And I think that came from listening to Ava Cassidy, because I just think so many of her versions of songs are better than the originals in a lot of cases. But so she sang this Help Me, and I got actually like the whole song. Oh, it's so beautiful. Sorry, but I'm going in not in chronological orders. I'm just so excited. Sorry. So, anyway, so she came on, and there was this other guy who ended up singing a few other songs. They were kind of the main people who actually led songs. We didn't know this yet. But okay, so then when everybody is sitting there, and mind you, Joni is not on the stage yet, so we are still in the dark as to what is going on. Brandi comes back onto the stage, and everybody's excited. And another really sweet thing was that she was wearing this outfit that was like all these flower prints on her, and they had all these sunflowers on it. And I had been seeing so many sunflowers throughout the whole weekend that I felt like we're into. You can see sunflowers are a big thing for me, right? You can see, or I felt like they were like sort of the culmination of this event. It was like the universe telling me like something great's coming, something great's coming. So she was wearing the sunflowers, and she does this really beautiful speech, and I'll include some of it here.
Now, when we come to Newport, we're not just here to listen to folk singers and hear great music, are we? And those of us over on this side of the fence are not just here to play it. We're here to keep something sacred alive. The power of the collective. It's got nothing to do with me. It's the togetherness in this silence right now. 10,000 people being silent is more powerful than any U.S. government has ever been. Congregations like these ones terrify tyrannical world leaders and all power and money structures, because it's in these moments where we might accidentally fully realize our potential as a collective. And the most radical and the most dangerous thing that we can unanimously experience together, and this is going to sound wholesome, but it's not, is love. Because if we love one another, we might defend one another. To power structures, folk music is and always has been utterly fucking destructive.
So she's talking about like the different music scenes and Haight-Ashbury and Motown and the Detroit scene, and that there's this scene in Laurel Canyon, and that and she used her birth name, which I don't remember, Joan Anderson.
For the last 3 years, like a wayward transient gang standing around a barrel fire to warm our hands, we've been brought together in the living room of one Joan Anderson from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
And people recognized it. So at this point, we know that Joni Mitchell songs are going to be sung. Okay, so we're like clued in. And she talks about these Joni Jams that they have in Laurel Canyon, where, you know, Joni Mitchell, it would be really exciting when Joni Mitchell would like, you know, give this kind of knowing smile, like something really great just happened when someone performed their own song or one of her songs or a song that she loved.
To be Joni's ambassador for this and a harbinger of her vision is without question the greatest honor of my career and maybe even my life. Let the history show that this particular scene, like the aforementioned scenes, has a name. This scene shall be forever known henceforth as the Joni Jam.
And so at this point I'm thinking, okay, Brandi Carlile, you've been talking for a long time, and if Joni Mitchell is not coming out, like, I am gonna be so disappointed. It's like, how can you have a jam session that you're calling Joni Jam and you're telling us that you're interacting with Joni Mitchell, but you're not bringing her on? I'm like, this is kind of cruel, you know? I recently watched this Tig Navarro special on Netflix, and she did kind of a similar thing, alluding to the fact that the Indigo Girls were coming on, but then she kept like introducing them and they wouldn't come on, and it was like this joke because it was a stand-up thing, and then eventually they did come on, and it was like, oh, okay, you can't do that. You can't do that to your audience. But so she, you know, she was like, but thankfully she is here.
Let's make history together. Hold nothing back in this moment. And please welcome back to the Newport stage for the first time since 1969.
So she brings Joni Mitchell out, and Joni has had recently an aneurysm, which I didn't realize until Brandi said. So she's actually had to relearn how to sing her songs and talk and stand up and play guitar and, you know, all these things that we take for granted. So she comes and she sits in like the royal, you know, like the regal chair. And I'm like, okay, this is why we have all this like beautiful upholstered furniture. I guess they were trying to make it look like her house. You know, Brady talks about how like, we're gonna do a Joni Jam. We're bringing the Joni Jam. We're bringing the Laurel Canyon scene to the Newport Folk Festival. And I was like, I cannot even describe in words how much this meant to me. And I was actually kind of like glad that I got to experience it by myself, because I wasn't like concerned about interacting with anybody or like, you know, feeding off of what they thought about it or anything. It was really special that I got to be there by myself, even though I feel also really badly that my friend didn't get to experience it because she got me these tickets and she felt really badly about it too. So that really sucks. I wish that she had been able to experience it. So I got a ton of video actually because I was getting it for her, because I knew she would like be kicking herself for not hauling ass after the wedding to get on a taxi or a water taxi to get to the festival, but she'd already given her ticket away. So anyway, so I can't remember what the first song they did was.
The wind is in from Africa. Last night I couldn't sleep. Oh, you know it sure is hard to leave a carriage that's really not my home. My fingernails are filthy. I got a beach towel on my feet, and I miss my feet.
And then
coming from the cold. Please come in. Coming from the
And then Celise did this electric guitar version of Help Me that was just gorgeous. And Brandi did some songs.
Constantly in the darkness, where's that? If you want me, I'll be in the bar. On the back of a cartoon coaster, on the blue TV screen light. I drew a map of Canada, oh Canada. Your face gets on twice.
There was like, you know, they were all kind of singing along. It was really cute. It wasn't like uber rehearsed. It was very organic feeling. And Joni would like be singing along, but like the words were not, you know, in sync, which was really sweet. And she has this really low voice now, which I mean, I knew about because I've heard her newer albums and her like more jazzy albums, where she has this very low voice.
Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high.
Presumably from smoking and gravity and old age and all these, you know, beautiful things that happen to us. So yeah, I mean, then they did, which was really cute. They did like Love Potion number 9.
She's gone. I've been this way since 1956. She looked at my palm and she never had a sign. She said what she needed, love potion number 9. Yeah. She bent down and turned around and gave me a wink. She said I'm gonna fix it up right here in the sink. It smelled like turpentine and looked like Indian ink. I held my nose, I closed my eyes, I took a drink.
This isn't one of her songs, but it's one that she loves, and you'll hear, I'll play the video. She does this like, I took a drink, the hook. So cute. And then what else? Why Do Fools Fall in Love? Because she really loves that.
Acquainted with it at a festival in San Francisco. I was in the lobby and Tim Harden, who used to open for me from time to time, but he was a bad junkie and he sometimes was a no-show. But I heard that he was playing there, and I went up to the desk and I said, "Can you tell me what room Tim Harden's in?" And the desk guy just said, "Can't you see I'm busy?" And so I turned around and I looked out into the lobby, and there was a bar across the lobby, and out of the bar came a guy dressed like James Dean in Rebel Without a Cause. Red cotton jacket, white shirt, blue jeans.
Oh, yeah.
And he was singing this song, Why Do Fools Fall in Love? So he's coming across the lobby singing this song, so I go out into the lobby and I join in with him. And we come back singing this song, and around the corner came a black doo-wop group called the Persuasions.
Yes.
And they joined in, and we had so much fun. And so I said to them, "Would you like to come on the road with me?"
As you do.
And so we did. We went on the road, and we sang this song.
And now it's like one of your favorite tunes, so we learned the jam for you, and we're going to do it right now. Let's do it.
And then Joni sang a few songs, which was, I mean, I didn't realize this. I saw in one news article that she hadn't performed in over 2 decades, I think. And like I said, I realized how special this gift was that I got to be there. But in reading that, I didn't like, I knew this was going to be historic. I knew that this was a historic event. I just didn't realize that like everybody would be hearing about this. And my mom would, my dad saw this as like a news article on, you know, like CNN or something, like, or on some news feed that he follows online. It wasn't even like you have to be on social media. My dad's definitely not on social media. So like so many people heard about this, and I was like, I was there, which is cool, because I feel like there aren't a lot of those kind of historic moments that we get to have the opportunity to participate in. And this was one of them. The night before, Paul Simon was on the stage, which I missed, but I wasn't upset about that, because Paul Simon, although I love his music, it doesn't mean as much to me. But Joni Mitchell just means so much to me. Her music has meant so much to me. It has influenced the way that I write, and oh my God, I'm gonna start crying. Like I could not help. Sometimes the tears were like tears of joy, and then other times it was like tears of just the knowing that she wouldn't be with us for very much longer, but also like the lyrics of her songs are the ones that she did, especially like she did, her last song was Circle Game, which she sang.
This is a sing-along. Yesterday, a child came out to wander, caught a dragonfly inside a jar.
Come on, sing along. I know it's amazing, but sing along.
Fearful when the sky was full of thunder, and tearful at the falling of the star.
Here we go.
And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel line. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game.
It was really cute because, you know, her songs are quite long, and so harder to remember, especially, you know, for somebody who's had an aneurysm. And so Brandi would like kind of cue her by telling her the first few words of a verse.
Then the child moved 10 times round the season.
Yes.
He skated over 10 clear frozen streams. Words like when you're older must appease him, and promises of someday make his dreams.
so that she could get it, which was so elegant, so sweet of her to do that. There was just such a beautiful camaraderie, and you could tell how honored Brandi felt to be in Joni's presence, but also just like she was sort of cute. She was sort of like, I could tell she was just so excited to show this off, you know, like, look at what we get to do. But I was talking about the lyrics in the Circle Game. You know, the lyrics in the Circle Game are how your dreams kind of evolve, right? How you come to this earth and you're just full of all this starry-eyed wonder, and everything is new. And then, you know, you get a little bit jaded, but how everything, you know, just has a kind of goes in this circular fashion, because we all do it. You know, and then the song before that she did was Clouds, which of course it's a very similar message. The the message in Clouds about how we look at love.
And still somehow it's like illusions I recall. I really don't know life. I really don't know life at all.
So I just wanted to share what it was like being there and to share some of the footage that I took with you as part of this podcast. I'm just so blessed. I feel so blessed that I got to be there. If you haven't heard my other Joni Mitchell story, besides the way that she's influenced me, she also helped me move on from my marriage and take charge of my life at a time when I didn't think that I could. And the way that happened was that I became the owner of the original album artwork for Song to a Seagull, her first album. My dad bought it at an auction for like $100, and he knew how much she meant to me. So he gave that to me when he got his divorce from my mom. And it was in our house in Arizona. And I had thought about just finding out, just out of curiosity, what it was worth. But not like for any reason, just kind of out of curiosity, because I'd never owned any original artwork before. So I ended up going onto the Joni Mitchell website, which is run by a third party, which is sort of funny. And so it's like jonimitchell.com, but it's not her website. It's like a fan website. But a lot of people post buying and selling her artwork. I don't think she sells her own artwork. I think that it's mostly like people who have like inherited it through gifts or things like that. Because as far as I'm aware, I don't think that she's interested in selling a lot of the stuff that she's made. So I took some photos of it, and people got kind of excited and started making me offers. And this was before I was planning on getting a divorce. I was like, no, it's not worth it to me. But at the time that I had fallen in love with, my current partner, and I had decided that I really didn't need to make a transition in my life, I realized that the artwork had sort of lost its value, not in terms of its beauty or its importance or its significance or anything, but just that it wasn't really adding much to my life to have it on my wall. I didn't really get much from owning it, and I felt like, maybe somebody else would. So somebody made me a very generous offer and ended up flying out from the East Coast to my bank to give me a money order check. And at the time it was not, she was doing this like on faith. I mean, because I didn't have any proof that this was the original artwork for Joni Mitchell's album, other than it looked like album artwork, and it looked like the album artwork, and it was done with pencil and I think maybe some paint. But she wanted to roll it up so she could take it on the plane. So I ended up taking it out of the frame that I had it in, that my dad had put it in. I'd never taken it out of the frame. And on the back of it was her signature. And I was like, oh, that's so perfect. That's so great. But the reason she wanted this was that, and I always think money's so interesting, because for me, this was like life-changing. And for her, this was like, pocket money. And she was a really lovely, lovely person. And she told me the story of why she wanted this piece. And it was because at the time that this album came out, she had to give up her child for adoption, her son. And that Joni Mitchell also had that happen to her. And so she always felt this connection with Joni Mitchell because of that experience. And she had reunited with her son, and she wanted to leave this for him in her will. It was really important to her. And so like I always think about that, because sometimes I go, oh gosh, it'd be really cool to have that piece again because it was so beautiful. But I think about, no, it went to the perfect person. It was like the perfect, it was just perfect. I don't personally believe that we need to own things to enjoy them, or own them forever for that matter, to get value from them. So I felt really good about that. But that was another reason why this meant so much to me, because I feel like she's shown up in my life, in a spiritual sense, at really important times for me. And I just felt, after one of the messages I got while she was singing is, sometimes I feel a little, I feel like maybe my songs are too long. I feel like, as I write a lot of words, my songs are really wordy. And I think my songs are really wordy because I started writing them as poetry, and I started at a time when I was listening to a lot of her music and to a lot of Sarah McLachlan and Fiona Apple and stuff. And they're very wordy, and I'm a very wordy person, as we can see. And sometimes I wonder, like, oh, maybe I should be different. Maybe I should be like a little bit more laconic, or eliminate some verses from my songs or whatever. But they were singing Amelia from her Hejira album, and it just went on forever. It was such a pretty song, but I was like, wow, this has like 9 verses. And I remember like my guides being sort of like, yeah, see, your songs aren't too long. So, and I just felt this surge of inspiration for writing new music, and especially, this is something I had been pondering for a couple of days before that, actually, but the desire to create things with the intention of creating joy for people, because I don't think that that's ever specifically been an intention of mine. I think music has been sort of a general type of expression, and I've definitely, with the mantra music, I think that intention was sort of baked into it a lot of the time. But with my own songs, when I write, English language autobiographical stuff, it's usually about processing something difficult that's happening for me, and it's kind of therapeutic. So I just kind of got that ping too, which I really appreciated. So I just felt so blessed in so many ways to be able to experience something so special that, I think there were maybe 10,000 people there, which isn't that many that got to experience this. It might be the last time anybody ever sees her live, hopefully not, but it could be. And I got to be there. Yeah. So I'm feeling pretty rich in experiences, and very grateful. So I wanted to share that inspiration. I'm sure that there will be elements of this that create little pings within your psyche, as I feel that it happens when we are drawn to stories. There's always something in it, that we've been meaning to hear or listen more carefully to. So I hope that there's something in there for you. And I will see y'all in the next episode. All right. Also, I have a concert coming up online Sunday, August 9th, which I would love for you to join me for. It's very sweet. We meet on Zoom, and we all chant together and sing together, and it's a really beautiful experience. So please check that out on my website, suriancar.com. You can get a ticket just for the concert, or if you're a subscriber to my healing modality, Body Cello, which includes 4 classes a month, as well as the concert and the on-demand classes. So you get the whole library of classes that I've previously taught. It's a very soothing modality. I'm really proud of having channeled / created this, because I feel that it's really important for people to be able to express through their voice. And I think that so many of the exercises that singers do are actually healing, have healing powers, and they don't use them that way. And most people who aren't singers have never used them. And there's just something really magical that happens when you move sound in your body and you move with sound. And I learned this through doing Kundalini yoga, that sound and movement work really nicely together with breath, which is what this is. But this is not, it's not Kundalini yoga. And it's very gentle and nourishing, and a much more fluid and feminine sort of modality. So it was something that was missing in my life, and is present again. So what's nice about the subscription is that it's only $5 more than the concert. So if you want to do the body cello, it's a really good deal because you get the concert basically. You get all the body cello for just $5 more a month than just the concert itself. So, all right, well, that's it. I will see you in the next podcast, and